Hey, what's up, guys? Let's jump right into the video. So the key point of this video is that it truly does not matter. I'll say it again. It truly does not matter. So back in the day, what happened was when you wanted to go into medical school, most people chose traditional majors. They had the biology, biochemistry, regular chemistry, physics, all that extra, boring stuff, right? So even when I did it, I chose biology. But I chose biology not because I, was so in love with biology. I chose it because that's what I was told you needed to do to get into medical school. Nowadays, we are going into an era where most people don't have to choose a science major in order to get accepted. In fact, you don't have to at all, actually. A lot of my classmates had all sorts of different majors. We had linguistic majors, we had Spanish majors, communication majors, we had a dance major, art majors. We had so many different majors. And you might be thinking, why on earth would someone who's doing, let's say, an art major want to go to medical school? Well, maybe because art is interesting to them. Hmm? Maybe because art is something that they enjoy, something that they want to pursue in the future. Should medical school maybe not work out, or even if it does work out and they're so interested in it, they want to learn an extra skill, right? There's no reason in which you can choose a major that you enjoy and not be able to achieve your medical school dreams if that's another dream that you have, right? And so the key thing is, if you're going to do a major that's not science, like your typical basic science majors, that's perfectly fine. But if you're going to do it, you need to take what is known as the 8 core classes. And obviously, those are changing all the time. But when I was doing it, and what I think it is still, are the 8 core courses that you need to get into medical school. Because that's all they're really looking at. So they don't care if your major was blue, red, yellow, green, they don't care. All they care is that the courses that they deemed are required for anyone who's getting accepted to medical school, you took them, you passed them, and not just passed them, but you did well enough to show that you have the fortitude to get accepted into a medical school and to thrive in a medical school. So what I found out was I had a friend who studied, I want to say she did African American studies, right? So she did African American studies, but which is like a bunch of Black history, African American history, blah blah blah. But those courses, the 2 semesters of biology, um, chemistry, organic chemistry, physics, biochem, she took those courses on top of her African American history courses, right? She did well on those African American history courses. Why? Because she was African American. She studied hard. She loved it. She generally enjoyed the material, but she also had a lot of extra time to take and focus on those core classes, the chemistry, the bio, the physics, the orgo, right? She had a lot of time extra because when she was studying for these other courses, she was like, oh, don't even worry about this. I enjoy these courses. I love these courses. I can do these courses in my sleep. But these core courses, they're a little bit harder for me. I needed more time and more preparation. So she did those courses and she aced them. With all the extra time she was doing, because she wasn't really wasting a lot of time on something that she loved, she was able to focus and pour her energy and soul into those 8 core courses. Got straight A's, easy acceptance to medical school, and the rest was history. I had another friend who was an art major, did the exact same thing. I had another friend, which I wish I would have done it. She was a Spanish major. She was not from any Hispanic background at all, but she was in love with the culture, in love with the language. Quite frankly, she loved the country itself, the different countries, right? And so she majored in Spanish. She's fully, capable of speaking and traveling on her own. She's bilingual now, but it awarded her free time to focus on the courses that were required for medical school, which of course she aced it. I think she maybe got like a B plus in one of the courses. But other than that, she did fairly well, went into medical school with a science GPA of like 3.9. So you see what I'm saying? Like she did really well. And most people can say, I can't imagine or fathom learning a whole nother language, right? While I'm trying to go into medical school, which I understand completely. But if it's something you love and something you're passionate about, you can do those things, right? And the best part about choosing a major that's not typical, I would say, is that you're different, right? You come off different to these medical schools because most people are coming in, all right, from Ohio, we have a bio major with a 4.0 science GPA. Okay, from Texas, we have a chemistry major with a 4.0. From New York, we have a physics major with a 4.0. It's all science. There's only so much science you can really talk about before you have to admit to yourself, it's not really that interesting. JK. But whatever. But then if I see somebody, all right, from Southern California, we have a Spanish major with a 3.9 GPA. It's like, oh, okay, a 3.9 GPA, which is not a 4.0, but you Spanish and you tell me you're Native American. Interesting. All right, cool. Okay, no worries. Oh, we have an art major who has had their arts displayed all over the country, or high regards and high marks on campus, whatever school you went to, with a 4.0 GPA. Honestly, you could be a cooking major. I do not even care. A culinary genius, right? And you have the 4.0 or the high science GPA. It makes you stand out. You're different. You're cut from a different cloth than these people who are just battered in science courses. So it's another interesting thing to talk about, right? It's something interesting. So the point I'm trying to get across is that you don't by any means need to be a science major. If I can go back in time, I'm telling you now, word to everything, I would not have done a biology major, right? I would have done Spanish, to be honest, because I definitely want to become bilingual in life. I'm still working on it, but I think it would have, made me a little bit more interesting, and I probably would have had more fun in college, and probably have gotten higher science grades in my courses, right? And so the thing I would say though, right, because I did biology as my major, I definitely had more opportunity to immersify myself in science courses. And what I found out was some of these extra courses that I was taking in my biology major that weren't really recommended or, necessary for medical school, they end up educating me a little bit more on the courses that were required for medical school. So it's kind of like double dipping. What I'm learning in this class happens to be pertinent to whatever I was going to learn in this class that's actually required for medical school. So what I would say is that those who are choosing science majors, they do have a slight advantage because they're immersifying themselves in science courses that can be related to the courses needed for medical school. The only caveat is, generally speaking, your science courses tend to be harder and unfortunately more boring than these other extracurricular courses. Most people don't walk in and say, I just love science, I just love biology, I just love chemistry. Most people are not saying that. So that's a caveat, and you've got to really just figure out who you are. Are you someone that says, you know what, I want interesting courses and just want to focus heavy for these courses and for medical school, and that's it? Or do I want to, immersify myself in the sciences because maybe I generally like it, or I feel like it would be better for me to prepare me for the courses that I actually need. And another plus for taking science courses actually is that medical school looks at a science GPA. If you're taking, let's say, an English major, your science courses are only going to consist of those 8 required for medical school. That's all they're grading you on. So if you mess up on any of those 8 courses, right, that's what, I don't know, 12.5% of your grade that's messed up because you messed up. You're only taking 8 courses. However, if you're taking a science major, it's a little different. You, instead of taking 8 science courses, you might be taking 16 or 20 science courses over the course of 4 years. And so what that means is that if you mess up on one of those courses, it's only worth 5% of your grade, of your overall science GPA, sorry. So it's hit or miss, to be honest. When one end, the science courses, you have multiple opportunities to mess up, but you might have a harder course load overall versus you choosing a non-science major, something that maybe you're interested in and you might enjoy more, but then you have less chances to mess up. And so in this case, if you end up messing up on one of those courses, you're gonna end up taking a bigger hit. So it's up to you really, but ultimately I love it when I see, and like I say when I see because I used to sit on the admissions committee. I love it when I see people who are not afraid to go against the grain. People who do something different, because I'm used to seeing the basic science majors applying to medical school. So when I see someone that's different, I'm like, ooh, it's a little different. Like, it's very interesting. Why would you choose that? Like, why would you be a cooking major trying to go to medical school? I'm just interested in you, to be honest. And the fact that you are acing these hard courses that even the typical science major students are failing or struggling with, it's actually quite impressive because you don't have all that extra background. It just means you are dedicated and you are pushing hard to score well. So it is interesting to think of that. So I hope this video kind of gives you guys a better insight on, different majors that you can choose from. Like I said, if I could go back, I'd probably do that because these other majors could have, benefited me more in life than my biology major. But I'm still thankful for biology. I like it. It's not bad. So really, no true complaints. Anyways, that's all I have for the video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop them below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and please share it to somebody that you may or may not be interested in medical school, because this video might actually help them. I wish I saw it before I started. But anyways, that's all for now. I'll check in with you guys next time.